Hi, it's Dr. Pennicott, your board certified pediatrician, and I'm excited to come back on here to talk about my top 7 tips for starting a successful breastfeeding relationship. So let's get started. Tip number 1, all about getting started early with education. Breastfeeding, of course, is a natural thing, but it doesn't mean that it's going to come naturally to you, right? It really is a skill that mom and baby both have to learn together to make it work. So starting early in your pregnancy with, learning about, all the techniques that are going to be helpful for you and what to expect is really going to help to minimize your stress. You can imagine, of course, the postpartum period is very stressful. You're just coming out of maybe surgery if you had a C-section, or you just gave birth vaginally, you're healing, you might be on medications. And so it's a really tough and stressful time. And if you have no educational foundation for what to expect, it can make starting the breastfeeding relationship even more stressful. So as much as you can do to read, watch videos, and learn before you give birth is going to be really important. Okay, now we're on to step 2. It's all about having a plan. Again, all about preparation. So if you know that you would like to breastfeed, having a plan for what to expect and relaying what you want to do to your healthcare team is going to be really important. So saying things to your OB and the nurses like, I want to breastfeed, I would like to do skin to skin with my baby, all those things are going to be really important for you. So immediately after you give birth, as soon as the baby is stable, most places they will put the baby on you skin to skin. And skin to skin is really important because it helps to actually regulate the baby's temperature. It helps to regulate the baby's breathing. So it has a lot of physiological benefits for the baby, and it also helps to start the bonding process with your child. Babies are so awesome. Once they get on the skin and they start to smell you and all those aromas, their instincts kick in and they start doing what we call the breastfeeding crawl, and they actually will start to move over to your breast and instinctively will latch on. And then, of course, hopefully your nurses will be there to help you assist with getting your baby to latch onto the breast to do the first feeding. And ideally, we'd like to do this within the first hour of life, which we often call the golden hour. Okay, step number 3. And the key here is going to be feeding your baby frequently. Putting the baby on the breast as often as possible is going to be really important to help stimulate your breast milk production. When the baby is feeding on your breast and emptying your breast, it sends a signal to your brain that says, hey, we're actually utilizing this milk, and it sends a signal that we need to increase our supply. So that's going to be really important. In addition, as you're starting this relationship, it's all about helping you and your baby bond and figure out how to latch well. So giving your baby multiple opportunities to do that is also going to be important as well. Don't worry about sticking to a specific schedule right now. As long as the baby's getting fed at least every 3 hours, put the baby on as much as the baby would like. You can't overfeed your baby on the breast, and you can't spoil your baby on the breast either. So that's going to be really important. And it's also important to have expectations, right? So your first few days, you're not going to be necessarily gushing with milk. Those first few days, you are producing something called colostrum. And colostrum I like to refer to as kind of a very thick milkshake for your baby. It's very nutrient dense, it's thick, and it's not a very large volume actually, and that's okay because your baby's tummy when they're first born is actually not that big. It's often the size of about a marble, and of course as the days and weeks go on, the stomach gets larger as they start to grow. So in those first few days, it's not going to be a lot of volume, but it's going to be very important for your baby to get that early milk because it is so nutrient dense. Another key to your success, which is going to be step 4, is utilizing your hands. So we're talking about hand expression of milk and also hands-on pumping. Now I am going to have a separate video specifically about hand expression, but I do want to mention it here. So what does that mean? Basically, it's using your hands to massage your breast to help extract milk. So when you're in the hospital and you are producing colostrum, a lot of times, moms say, well, I'm not getting out a lot of milk, or I'm pumping and I don't see anything coming out. Especially in those first few days, actually using your hands is going to be more effective than using a pump to help extract your colostrum. You can often hand express the colostrum onto a spoon and use that to feed your baby, in addition to putting the baby on the breast to help supplement their feeds. And using your hands to basically express milk also is helping to send more signals to your brain to produce more milk. So that's something that's going to be really important. Hands-on pumping, what that means is that when you have the pump that's attached to your breast and it's going, you're also using your hands on that same breast to massage the breast as the pump is going. And so by doing those things together, it actually shows that you can get a lot more milk out of that one breast than just putting the pump on by itself. Okay, step 5. This is going to be really important, and it's all about taking care of yourself. I always try to tell new moms, like, you can't take care of your baby if you're not taking care of yourself. So making sure that you are eating as healthy a diet as you can possibly manage, making sure that you're taking adequate fluids, all those things are going to be really important to help your body create the best milk for your child. And so I often will say, when you're feeding the baby, have a partner or a family member bring you something to drink and with a straw so that you can drink while the baby is also feeding as well. That will kind of at least be a cue for you to stay hydrated, because it's so often you're a busy mom, you're running around, and then oftentimes you realize, whoa, half the day has gone by and I barely had a cup of water. So making sure that you stay hydrated, that you're eating a very balanced diet. There's no specific diet for breastfeeding moms, but making sure that you're getting in your proteins, your healthy fats. Carbohydrates are okay, they're not the devil, you can eat those too. All those things are going to be really important so that you have balanced nutrition to feed your body, so that you have energy to take care of your baby, and then also to provide the best milk possible for your child. Okay, so step 6 kind of piggybacks off of step 5, and that is to have a supportive partner and a supportive family. And so this is such a tough time doing this transition from being pregnant to having your child, and you may have multiple children, right? You might have given birth to multiples. It's really, really going to be critical for you to have a good support system, especially during now that we have coronavirus going on as well. And so, for a lot of moms who decide they want to breastfeed, it can be a challenge, right? A lot of times they might actually get discouraged by their own family members. If they're one of the first people in their family to attempt to breastfeed, or who wants to breastfeed for a longer time, sometimes they may come across naysayers or people who might discourage them. So I think it's really important before you give birth to sit down with your partner, sit down with your family, explain to them your goals of wanting to breastfeed and that this is something that's really important to you, and having them provide you with support, getting you the water that you need, helping to watch the baby so you can take a nap, helping, clean the pump parts, making the meals. All those things are going to be really helpful to making sure that you're going to have a successful relationship with breastfeeding with your baby. Okay, you guys are awesome. You stuck with it to the end. And now we're on our last tip, which is tip 7, which is, make contact with a lactation consultant early and often. If you can, having a visit before you actually give birth can be very helpful, because they can kind of walk you through everything that you're going to expect, give you tips on tools that you're going to be using throughout your hospital stay, like hand expression. And it can be a great relationship to start early. And if you can't do that, then at least when you are in the hospital, letting your nurses know or your physician know, I would like a lactation consultation while I'm in the hospital, is something that's going to be really important to help give you a one-on-one time to address specifically with you and your baby how the latch is going, how are they extracting milk, help to sort of troubleshoot things that often come up, such as nipple pain while feeding. It's also going to be really important, of course, to follow up closely with your pediatrician, who can also assist you with your breastfeeding concerns, in addition to, of course, watching out for all the medical things that we look for in the newborn period as well. So frequent visits with lactation consultants and your pediatrician. Now in the age of COVID, actually a lot of lactation consultants are also offering virtual visits, so that's a great option as well. And also check with your insurance company. A lot of them will offer to pay for lactation visits as well. So I hope that you found this video helpful. These are just some tips to get you started along the way to have a successful breastfeeding journey. Feel free to share this with any new mamas that you know who you feel might benefit from this. I hope that you guys are doing well, you're staying healthy. Please subscribe to the channel if you thought that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what other breastfeeding specific topics you want me to cover, or any pediatric topics in general, and I will see you next time. And also be sure to follow me on my Instagram page at Dr. Pennicott, and you can see how my name is spelled here in the title. Take care.